My right honourable friend's statement today. He's taken the right decision. We've had good cause to suspend the extradition treaty, and I will now withdraw my amendments to the extradition bill. Not that that's been keeping him asleep at night, I expect. But I just want to also associate myself with my honourable friend, the chairman of the Select Committee, on the issue of the Uyghurs and follow on things that we may do. And it is true that he's right that he has to be very careful on the legal elements of what he does with regards to sanctions on individuals now that we've created the Medici changes. But the issue really is that the Uyghurs and the Inter-Parliamentary Alliance on China published the report on the forced sterilisation of the Uyghur women a few weeks ago, and there are lots of evidence now of those officials who are involved in it. Could I encourage him, in line with many of my honourable friends and those on the other side of the House, to do what he can to accelerate officials to look at this urgently and to look at the Uyghur elements that we may force sanctions on those responsible, and on Hong Kong, on people like Carrie Lam and her predecessor, Mr. Leung, as well now.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I thank him for his support for the measures today, and also thank him for withdrawing his amendment. I appreciate his magnanimity in that regard. And on Magnitsky, of course, he's raising two different issues, which is one, their application potentially in relation to Hong Kong, secondly in relation to Xinjiang. We, of course, have a process for gathering all of the evidence on all of those potential cases. Obviously, in relation to the national security legislation, that is newly enacted, so that will take some time. But he's right to point to, and I've been reading over the weekend the reports by Amnesty International in 2019 and 2020 on the range of abuses in Xinjiang, the reports by Human Rights Watch between 2018 and 2020 on the mass detention and political indoctrination, and also looking at the United Nations Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination and their report in 2018 around the massive internment camps with no rights. So we are looking at this very carefully, but as he rightly notes, it is important to assess this very carefully, and also it's not just a question of whether the abuses took place, it's whether individual responsibility can be ascribed to someone whom we wish to impose a visa ban or an asset freeze on.